Greetings, esteemed guests. As we're all aware, last year, half a year ago, at the 6th of February, around 4 a.m., our southeastern regions were hit by a devastating earthquake of 8 degrees magnitude. 1 second, please. Now, through the hard work and blood and sweat of many good men and women in medicine, we have managed to bandage our initial wounds and the most pressing of our endeavors. Now, half a year later, it is time to look and start to guide the healing process so that the next time, God forbid, something like this, a catastrophe like this happens, that we will be prepared, that we will not suffer as much. I am an intern doctor working in Istanbul, and I feel somewhat qualified to talk about the medical side of this rebuilding effort. First off, what went wrong? Especially in the southeastern regions, there is a stigma for doctors, especially during their mandatory service, to avoid, to not go, and especially due to our projects which valued Istanbul and more economic regions that are centers of trade and commerce to the west. We have not been able to provide the healthcare that's expected of us. Now, after we have learned our lesson, it is time to start rebuilding our supply of medicine, our supply chain, our personnel, our medical equipment, once again from scratch. And this time around, to rebuild our infrastructure, and by infrastructure we don't just mean clinics, we don't just mean what we have in a city, in a setting, in a society, is called a self-sustaining supply of medicine, right? You have local doctors, you have local medicine, you have local resources that can serve the local populace. Now what we need to remake, what we need to rebuild, is that same baseline support level, and this time we will adhering to a stricter code of conduct and a stricter code of construction, and with accepting the fact that 1/3 of Turkey is on the earthquake fault line, and this disaster, this calamity is sadly expectable to repeat itself again and again. We are on the fault line. But as we look to the west and to the east, to the far east, countries such as Japan, who are also on the fault lines, have managed to set up perfectly working systems in place for events like this. With increased effort, with our collaborative effort, both local and global, we will be able to rebuild in such a way that these kinds of calamities will no longer be able to stop our growth. Again, I am an intern doctor. There are many aspects of this healing process that I do not feel comfortable speaking about, that I do not feel qualified to speak about, such as the psychological extent, because I have been trained in psychiatry, not in psychology. I cannot in good faith talk about it. But I would, and I can stay here and talk until the morning. I can never go over all the pain and suffering that people went through on that damn day. But I know that tragedies like this do not heal with time. Tragedies like these heal with a continued and resilient effort by us and by our neighboring countries. Thank you for listening.